Hey guys, I'm PhilbertGreen. Yeah, that guy. Now, while I mainly stream on Twitch, I wanted to make some original content videos for this here YouTube page, so it could be more than just a graveyard where all my past streams go to die. The main focus of my Twitch channel was horror games, and Resident Evil is what really kickstarted me off, so I'm going to be starting a series where I retrospectively look back at all the Resi games, give them a little review and a bit of a personal spin about what they meant to me growing up, and how much they mean to me now, and finally, why I like them, or, don't like them. That having been said, it'll mainly be main series Resident Evil games, and obviously the ones that I've played, which means unfortunately no spin-offs in games like Survivor, Gaiden, Outbreak, Chronicles, etc. If I can play these games somehow and even stream them on my channel, then hell yeah, expect a video on those later down the line. But it's not just going to be Resi games. If I enjoy doing this project, and more importantly, if you guys actually like these videos, I will branch out to other game series that influenced my childhood and teenage years growing up. So, if you'll join me, let's enter the survival horror.
What is this?
Way back in 1993, Capcom, the Japanese video game developer and publisher responsible for popularizing Street Fighting and Mega Manning, began development on a new game in an attempt to make horror games a fully fledged genre of their own. Initially intended as a remake of their earlier title, Sweet Home, Shinji Mikami was commissioned to take the helm and create a spine-chilling new experience set in a haunted house. Eventually, the game took on a life, or is that an unlife, of its own, and Resident Evil was born. Over the course of its 3-year development cycle, many ideas and concepts came and went before the final vision was realised. Originally conceived as a first-person action game, it wasn't until Mikami discovered the classic Alone in the Dark that Resident Evil took on a third-person perspective with the fixed camera angles and pre-rendered backgrounds, and the tank controls that we all know and love today. Various characters were introduced, and then cut, and then remade into the caricatures that have been revealed in the final release, and Sony's PlayStation was settled upon as the console of choice due to its technical advantages over all other competitors at the time. After 3 years, Biohazard, or Resident Evil if you live in the rest of the world because trademarking everyday words is a hard thing to do, looking at you, Ohio State University, was released upon the great unwashed and bathed us all in the holy cleansing fire that is survival horror.
Spoiler alert! Hey guys, full spoilers for a 25-year-old game coming up. However, if you want to play this for yourself for the first time, that's absolutely fine. Click the timestamp in the description below and it should skip you straight to the next part of the video. While I can't guarantee that the footage used is going to avoid full, complete spoilers, but hopefully you'll be able to miss out on most of the main plot spoilers. They gone? Good. Then let's begin.
What is this all about? I can't figure it out at all.
The story of the first Resident Evil features a bunch of police twatting about in a spooky mansion. Set in July 1998, the story of Resident Evil, both the game and the series as a whole, begins in the fictional Arklay Mountains, which lie on the outskirts of the fictional Midwestern Raccoon City. After a series of grisly murders in the forest, STAR's Alpha Team, a composite of a detectives department, SWAT team, and a private army, all bankrolled by the Raccoon Police Department, are flying over the woods looking for the helicopter of their compatriots, Bravo Team, who've been missing since the previous day. After finding Bravo's crashed helicopter and a human jigsaw puzzle resembling one of their comrades, Alpha Team is attacked by a pack of rabid zombie dogs and their pilot, Brad Chickenheart Vickers, buggers off, stranding them in the forest. Taking casualties and with nowhere to run, the Scooby Gang, the STAR survivors, take refuge at a spooky mansion. Finding more monstrosities inside, as well as their fallen teammates, it is revealed that something more sinister is afoot. The wounded captain of Bravo Team expositions that one member of STARS is a traitor, and the whole mansion and the T-virus mutated monsters within are part of twisted experiments by the pharmaceutical corporation Umbrella. Finally, the traitor is unveiled in the secret underground lab as Old Man Jenkins after falling into Velma's trap. The traitor is unveiled as Wesker, and he then releases the ultimate bioweapon, the Tyrant. However, in true 90s movie style, it turns on its creator and supposedly kills him, but STARS then have to kill it. Facing it one last time on the roof, they are able to contact Brad, for extraction, and with his help and an RPG, they turn the Tyrant into salsa and make their escape.
It's a weapon. It's really powerful. especially against living things. Better take it with you.
The game allows you to choose from 2 characters right from the off, Jill Valentine and her standard issue beret, and a pre-boulder punching Chris Redfield. The difference is not just aesthetic though. Jill is a kind of unlabelled easy mode. She has a larger inventory, more powerful weapons available to her, big Barry Benson B as backup, and starts with a lockpick. However, while Chris can take more damage, he has to save Rebecca, yes, her, the Bravo team rookie, several times, and rely on finding additional keys to open smaller locks. Both Jill and Chris never cross paths in their respective stories, apart from the endgame, and this means that they have slightly different narratives to explore depending on your choice of character. This other character style of narrative is a gameplay element that we have not seen the last of in the Resident Evil series yet. The story is presented through cutscenes and interactions with other characters, as well as world-building lore found within notes and messages left by the doomed researchers and former residents of the Spencer estate. The aforementioned tank controls were born, raised, schooled, and graduated with well-paying jobs here. Mixed in with static camera angles, the controls operate slightly differently than your standard affair, and people I know still have trouble using them today. Rather than moving your character in relation to the camera, your button inputs instead refer to the direction your character faces, which means without practice, you'll be running into walls and getting yourself killed a lot. With plenty of practice though, you'll be running smooth lines past enemies and saving precious ammo. Speaking of, ammo is scarce, okay? Don't go shooting off everything you've got, everything you see, okay? Okay, maybe it's not that scarce. Exploring will give you many run-ins with the various creatures living within the walls of the spooky mansion, but once you know your way around and have several paths you've cleared, backtracking to save rooms to dump items you don't know where to use yet, you could find yourself sitting on a stockpile of military-grade ammunition. Mentioning dumping useless items, the inventory system in Resident Evil is unique in the fact that, as Jill for example, you only have 8 slots available. Every item in the game takes up 1 inventory slot. Simple, right? Well, not exactly. As you explore newer areas, you might start sweating, having to make critical decisions about whether to take that much needed healing item or save space for a key item that might give you access to a well needed save room. Saving is also a tricky choice to make, as it requires you to use one of a finite amount of ink ribbons on a typewriter. This means that you have to choose when to save, and can only save if you have an ink ribbon in your inventory and are in the specific room with the typewriter. Most of the time though, this isn't really that much of a problem, as the magic bottomless box is usually present whenever a typewriter is. These interdimensional wormholes through time and space allow you to store any and all items you find within them, and anything you do store is magically present at the next box that you encounter. Circling back to healing items, the game has another unique way of dealing with health. As you take damage, your health is represented by 3 different coloured levels on a heart rate monitor. Fine is green and you're a zombie killing machine. Caution is yellow, grab some health there fella. Danger is red, you're basically dead. Yeah, poetry. If you're in need of healing, the primary source of health is herbs, neatly potted and scattered around the house and grounds. A green herb will give you a small boost to your health. However, mix it with the previously useless on their own red herbs, and you find yourself with a full heal that will bring you back from danger to fine. Also thrown into the mix are the blue herbs that can cure you of the debilitating poison status effect. Finally, the rarest of the rare, the first aid spray. Now an iconic series staple, they are incredibly hard to find, but coveted like Augustus Gloop's chocolate hoard for their full healing properties. Oh, and did I mention that all of this is only displayed in your inventory? Yeah, there's no HUD whatsoever, so it's on you to keep track of how many times you've been bitten and how many shots you've fired in tense combat situations. Oh yeah, the bit you've all been waiting for, the juicy combat. It's clunkier than Clanker's Cavern. It's basically just point and click. Holding down the aim button will auto-aim the character at the nearest enemy, then you just shoot until they're dead. Again. But it's not all bad. There's a varied selection of weapons, from your handgun to the head-popping shotgun, to the multi-flavoured grenade launcher, to the boss-slaying magnum. While the number of enemy varieties is small, you've still got zombies, zombie dogs, battletoads, and even sharks. Yup, zombie jaws. Capcom went there. The boss roster is nicely rounded out too, perfectly showcasing the effects of the T-virus infection on things other than zombies, such as plants and even spiders. Half of the umbrella cake is the gun sponge, the icing is the puzzles, breaking up the fighting and exploration is the patented Resident Evil, obscure as fuck, what the hell does this do and where do I put it puzzles. Mainly presented as cryptic descriptions, or a room with several interactable objects in them, there is no hand-holding, and examining items in your inventory is often key to revealing what they might be used for and how to progress further in the game. The static camera style of gameplay remains highly controversial today, but it allows for a much more detailed environment to be created and then the garish 3D models to be placed inside of them. And it actually fucking works in this game. The camera focusing on the player in some of the rooms and twisted corridors creates a sense of tension where you have to rely on your hearing and listen out for those distinct sounds that enemies make. Not only that, but it's also used to hide items. Where your character would be able to see an item with their own eyes, it may obscure some bullets or a herb behind a bed or a table, meaning you might miss them on your first playthrough, but still have something extra to find on any subsequent playthroughs you make. The atmosphere here is set through the bizarre environments and music found within. The majority of the rooms here are brightly lit and even more brightly coloured. However, I find this isn't necessarily a bad thing. The weird wallpapers and rooms filled with suits of armour all add to the tension and the suspense, and these days are a refreshing change from just dark and gloomy environments that are tailored to be scary in more contemporary games. That having been said, there appears to only be about 4 music tracks in the entire game. The suspense music is actually quite good at building, well, suspense. Kicking in certain rooms, it adds to the unease of you not knowing what is through the following door. It also features the introduction of the save room theme, a piece of music that has gone on to become iconic in the series, letting you know you finally hit safety and can save that progress that you've just made. The tension music, however, is wank. It's laughably dated as far as the past 25 years go. Just listen to this cutscene between Jill and a nice man who has been bitten by a giant snake.
Richard, what happened?
Oh, Jill, this house is dangerous. There are terrible demons. Ouch!
You're wounded. What kind of demon attacked you?
It was a huge snake and also poisonous. Ugh.
Poisonous? Oh, no. Richard, hold on.
And yes, here we are. I've held off long enough. The voice acting. The goddamn voice acting. I'm not sure whose idea it was to put the bemusing 90s B-movie intro cutscene at the start of the game, but my guess is they were the ones who devised the voice acting. All of the voice acting in this game is amazing. It's so terrible that it fits perfectly into the so bad it's good column. Here are some of my favourites.
Stop it! Don't open that door!
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
Whoa! This hall is dangerous.
It was all I could do to protect myself against those strange creatures.
Is that right?
So, Barry and Jill together.
Are you all right, Enrico?
The sound effects and noises the enemies make are diverse enough to let you recognise the moan of a shambling zombie or the howl of the rotting Cerberus, but also to put you on edge at something that you don't, like a screech from an air duct or the tapping of claws down a hallway. That having been said, however, there is only about 2 or 3 sound effects for each enemy type, and they often pull the same one out of the hat when you take down multiple types of the same enemy. Nevertheless, the guns all sound pretty meaty when you use them against enemies, and some of them have that satisfying, squishy pop when you score that sweet, sweet headshot.
That's what I was going to say.
So, does it hold up today? Visually and audibly? Well, no. While the gameplay remains solid and a decent foundation layer for the series to come, the look of the game is horrifically dated. I love the PS1 as much as the next person. It was one of the first consoles I really got invested with as I was growing up, and while I have a lot of fond memories of it and the classic games that it gave to us, looking back over the last 25 years of developing consoles and graphics does not look so great anymore. Nostalgia is a wonderful thing. It gives you a warm and fuzzy feeling when you play an old game you loved, hear a meaningful piece of music, or watch your favourite movie. However, to do this in the retrospective way I wanted, I had to remove the rose-tinted nostalgia goggles and look upon it with my own eyes. Any game that uses polygons to create characters really does not age well, and these characters have not either. I mean, I love Crash Bandicoot, but the Sonic's Arse game does look like Sonic's Arse these days. There are about 3 different zombie models for the entire game, and while Jill, Chris, Rebecca and Barry are plenty detailed, it can be sometimes hard to recognise what smudge you're playing as and what direction you're facing. Pre-rendered backgrounds do look good, but it's easy to determine what's part of the game and what's just background details, making any surprise zombie attacks from what you thought were corpses kind of easy to spot. The music and voice acting take you right out of the action, and sometimes renders me into pure fits of laughter. But that doesn't mean that this is a bad game. Under the skin, it's a properly built and a well-realised puzzle-driven experience, akin to older point-and-click games like Monkey Island and Commander Keen. Overlooking the graphics and sounds, this is actually a fun experience that mechanically still stands up today. Not to mention, these quibbles do all get addressed in the HD remake of the game released in 2002, but that's a video for another time. Solving a puzzle still gives you that satisfaction of finally having made some progress, and for me at least, gets me thinking about the thought process behind the puzzle, and what this random stone crest is going to be used for in the future. Besides, any game that has a collectible item called the Doom Book can't be bad, right? I never played this game originally when it first came out. My initial foray into the Resident Evil brand of survival horror was actually Resident Evil 3. I played bits and pieces of this game at friends' houses and enjoyed what we played, but I never got a hang of the story. It wasn't until after I had shit my pants being pursued by the Nemesis I wanted to go back and replay the original games to see how the series had progressed thus far. Looking back at this game 25 years on, with it not knowing the path ahead of it, meant only as a remake of a previous game, Resident Evil is a solid entry into the survival horror genre, and, in my opinion, completes the mission of being responsible for popularising survival horror and turning a whole generation of players onto horror games. With Resident Evil 8 almost upon us like Lady Dimitrescu's 8 feet of... yes! If there are still games being made with PS1 style graphics and Resi style gameplay today, then this game has definitely left a lasting impression, and its undead legacy is most definitely still alive today. It's even easier than ever before to play this game these days, so if you're new to the series or a veteran from the very beginning, Filbert says, go and play this game. Hey guys, if you're listening to this, then that means that you've made it all the way to the end of the video, and I thank you so much for watching this far. Yeah, this has been my first real attempt into doing anything sort of like YouTube worthy or even reviewing anything, so if you've got anything you want to say, like constructive criticism is always greatly appreciated, and thank you so much for watching this, like really, it's so good that you've actually stayed this far. As a little reward for you guys, there's a few outtakes coming up at the end of this little VO here. Of times that I fucked up while I was recording, so that's something fun for you guys. But yeah, as I said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video, and I really hope you guys like this. So yeah, just let me know what you thought. I've been PhilbertGreen. Stay safe, be good. The wounded captain of Bravo team expositions that one member of STARS is a traitor, and the whole mansion and the T-virus mutated monsters. The wounded captain of Bravo. Oh fuck. Umbrella. 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 Ella. Ella. A. Under my umbrella corporation. I mean, I love Crash Bandicoot. No, I don't love him like a bloody I'm not married to him.